Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Allen, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. And by the way, you can catch up with us on podcasts all over the place. I found us on Amazon Music last week. We're on Google, we're on Apple, and Spreaker, we're on Podclips, all over the place. And you can also just listen to us at latenighthealth.com, and there's some videos up there as well. We had done a series on sexism, and I finally put that up on our website. You should check that out. It's Elephant in the Room, and I hosted the After the Elephant, and I was very pleased to have done that for Invincivox. All right, Inicivox, I misspelled that. We're going to go back to Washington, D.C., and we're going to spend some time with Harold Cameron. Harold describes himself as a people's advocate, and in fact, he describes himself as the people's advocate. Harold, welcome to Late Night Health.
Thank you for inviting me and for welcoming me to your broadcast. It's a pleasure.
So, you work as an advocate for other people, but you started as an advocate, I believe, for yourself. Can you tell us your history? Because you have an interesting history the last, 10 or 15 years?
Well, thank you for asking. The bottom line was, unexpectedly, I was diagnosed with 2 brain tumors and other health issues, and began to be given the appropriate medical treatment for that. However, the symptoms, the effects of having the tumors caused such disturbances, I was no longer able to be employed. So I became what is described as officially disabled without employment or income. And that means that when you are determined to be medically disabled with a condition that will last you a year longer or could result in your death, you are entitled to disability benefits. Well, I had to advocate for myself to get disability benefits. And I didn't have months or years to wait for all the people to get their ducks in a row to decide ultimately which should have been and would have been a yes. So I advocated for myself, took the right steps with the right people, which I learned who they were. And one quick funny story, I had an interview at the Social Security Administration office, and the interview was completed, and the individual said, okay, here's some forms for you to sign to get your medical records. Well, I handed her probably 1,000 pages, maybe, of medical records. The look on her face was priceless. The reaction was unfathomable to me because she said, now I've got a fax. All these papers down to Wilkes-Barre. Yes, you do. And she did. And so as a result, it expedited and got my claim processed more quickly because you didn't have to wait for all those medical records to be evaluated.
How are you today, physically?
Thank you for asking. I remarkably, at 66 years age young, I'm doing the very best I can ever remember in my life. I cannot remember a time where I felt more whole, more well, and better. And I might tell your audience, as an elderly person who was taking 80 milligram of Prozac 4 months ago, Ativan, both brand, by the way, brand Ativan and brand Prozac, not generic, as well as Tramadol for pain, I'm off of those medications for over 4 months, and I'm doing, I can't begin, I'm just, what can I say other than marvelous, splendid, and great.
So you can get on a pogo stick and hop away.
I haven't tried that yet, although I did try a backflip out of the back of my out of my bathtub. That didn't go so well. So I've given up on the circus idea or high flying or backflip acts, but good idea. Maybe I'll have to try the Togo stick routine, so I made out with that.
Why were you denied or declined your benefits, even though you were obviously you needed them and that you met the requirements? Had you been declined that at first?
No. However, to those of you who are listening, there is a lie, and there is a lie that is told to people who apply for disability, even those who most likely should be approved, that you're going to be denied the first time, you're going to go through an appeal, and blah, 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 and eventually, when you fight long enough, and unless you have a really, really, really honest attorney, and they, max out all the money they can get because they can achieve a certain level of tier, if you will, amount of money. So if it's settled right away, they get less. If it's settled longer, where the amount accumulates, so it accumulates, and the check gets bigger. So I had an idea given to me: you're going to be denied. However, I said, no, I'm going to do all of my due diligence so that doesn't happen. And if it does happen, I will be prepared for the next steps, which, by the way, again, attorneys don't necessarily volunteer the next appropriate and right steps that people can take. Rather, they drag it out till such a time as you either die or you live long enough that you're not able to enjoy the money and somebody else gets it, or you actually do get it and do get to enjoy some of the benefits of that help.
Harold, do you think that agencies intentionally decline and deny claims to save money? Or is it just that the bureaucracy is so big, the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing?
I think both of what you said are appropriate to say, and I think also people are overwhelmed. Picture a man or a woman at his desk on a computer with 200, 300 or more cases to look at, and they've got a life, they've got family, in their head, they've got things they're thinking about. Yes, I know they shouldn't, but they're human. So they looked at all this mound of claims, and of course, most of them don't have medical records. Most of them are not filed properly. Most of the people are not given accurate information. So they've got to go through themselves. They got to go through, as claims agents, a whole lot of processes to even get to the place of saying yes. So, and I think there's burnout. So I don't think it's one specific thing. But what I will tell you is this: with positive, personable outreach to these dear people and expressing to them the humanity, the human need of this situation, I have been gloriously and wonderfully received, not only for myself, but for others, and have received help for myself and for others. So I think your question is a good one, and I hope my answer is appropriate as far as what you're looking to find.
All right, we're going to be talking in our next segment. We're going to be talking about some of the advocating that you've done for others. How bad did it get for you? I mean, were you ever living on the street in a park bench on a piece of cardboard? Did it get that bad when, with two brain tumors, not being able to work and not getting any help? How bad did it get for Harold?
In the middle of winter, with an old car, going back and forth to a homeless shelter, sleeping on a cot. It got pretty bad. It got really, really bad. But I didn't give up. I refused to accept defeat. And as bad as it got, there were still others that were far worse off. They didn't have a car. I had a car. So right. I looked around, but yes. And the other area that got really, really bad.
Harold, I'm going to stop you right here. We're going to continue in just a few moments. We're going to take a break. Our guest is Harold Cameron, the People's Advocate. You can check him out at HaroldSays.com. HaroldSays.com. Now, I've got to tell you, Harold does charge, but he's reasonable, and he'll work with you. If you really have a problem, and of any kind, with the government, with an airline, even with Comcast and other companies, Harold might be a way to get some resolution. Again, that's HaroldSays.com. brighthere.com. I'm Mark Allen, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. Don't go away. More coming up as Late Night Health continues. Late Night Health is proud of our partnership with the EBC, the Evolutionary Business Council. Check them out at ebcouncil.com.
You're listening to Late Night Health with Mark Allen. The show continues in a moment.
Recently, I met Jacqueline from Bright here in Los Angeles. She gave me a hearing exam and then showed me how to hear again with the new Signia Pure Series hearing aids, and she can give you your life back too. I hear birds chirping, birds cooing, and even my wife. They easily connect to my smartphone. The Signia hearing aids are amazing, and with the charge and go, I don't have to fiddle with batteries and hear all day long. Not hearing is frustrating for you and your family. I know you don't have a problem, but trust me, call Bright Here now for a free hearing exam, a $125 value, yours free, just for making an appointment now. There are offices throughout the Los Angeles area. Call Bright Here now at 323-424-7100. That's 323-424-7100 for a free hearing exam. There's no obligation. Call now, 323-424-7100, or visit them on the web at brighthere.com.
If you're listening to Late Night Health right now, you're part of the growing target of baby boomers we're serving. Hi, I'm Daryl Wayne, producer of Late Night Health, inviting you to join the Late Night Health family. If you have any business targeting the growing boomer market, Late Night Health is the ideal advertising vehicle for you. From vitamins to insurance, alternative health to Western-style medicine, Late Night Health caters to the growing population of those over 40 years old. This vibrant demographic has expendable income to fight aging, purchase travel, take care of aging parents, or just have fun. Find out about the advertising opportunities with Late Night Health. Call us at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308, or email us at info@latenighthealth.com. That's info@latenighthealth.com. Join Late Night Health as we empower people to take charge of their own health care. Call now at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308. Sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Words are a critical aspect of success. How you get your point across is a crucial part of what makes anything sell. So do it right and hire a writer. Whether it's articles, blog posts, technical writings, website content, product descriptions, or ghostwriting anything from a novel to a nonfiction book about your navel, contact Servet Hassan. If you want it to sell, write it right. Email Servet at servet@servethassan.com.
It's time to tackle a tough topic, one that affects us all. We're talking about sexism in the workplace. The award-winning Identifying the Elephant in the Room series is back and ready to tackle some complicated communications issues again. This spring, we're focusing on critical communication strategies in the face of sexism. Join us as we hear from professionals in the natural products industry who have valuable career lessons to share and real-world experience to discuss from all sides of the elephant. It's time to have an honest and open conversation about the impact of sexism in the workplace and how we can make it better for everyone. Identifying the Elephant in the Room series starts March 16th. Register today at inicibox.vfairs.com. That's INICIBOX.VFAIRS.com, and join the conversation to be part of the solution. Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Allen, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. Be sure to check us out at latenighthealth.com, latenighthealth.com. We are spending some time with our new friend, the People's Advocate, Harold Cameron. Harold is the People's Advocate. He helps people resolve issues with all kinds of government agencies, big companies. I'll just mention a few: Wells Fargo, Comcast, United Health, American Airlines. He's worked with people, helping them with HUD, the DOJ, and Social Security, amongst others. Harold, what did you do before your health issues turned you into an advocate, really starting a second part of your life?
Sales and marketing. I bet you couldn't tell.
No.
Yeah, sales and marketing.
And do you find that working for yourself is more enjoyable than working for a company and selling a widget?
Well, I happen to have very good employers, so it really was wonderful to work for them. And working for myself is enjoyable. I think at this point in my life, working for myself is more preferable and enjoyable than working for others at this time. But I was fortunate. I had good employers to work with, so it wasn't too bad. And that was back, several years ago when working conditions were a lot different than they are today.
Sure. And at the same time, you really don't work for yourself. You work with people, helping them overcome problems.
Yes.
Just before the break, we were going to talk about some of the companies and what you do. What are some of the grievances that people have against, I don't know, their cable company, against their banks, against housing? Can you just give us one or two brief stories?
Sure. One would be, and this would be like not one particular story, but several stories. Somebody finds some kind of fraud on their account, large amount of money. They are in a desperate situation. They can't get a hold of the company to get the issue resolved. They reach out to the bank. The bank says, well, it's going to be 7 to 10 days to get the money. The person says, look, I got to feed my kids here. I'm a working single mom with 2 kids. Well, sorry, blah, 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 blah. Now, I do know they have regulations they have to follow. However, with an appropriate outreach to the vice president of the bank, many times things can be moved and people get that money much more quickly while the bank works out the fraud. Housing, that's a big one. I need a house. I need an apartment. I don't have a place to go. I'm going to be homeless. I'm 60-some years of age. I've got an oxygen thing on that I carry around me, heart condition. So I reach out to the White House, the outhouse, and to the commissioner of HUD and all the appropriate people. And lo and behold, the lady gets a letter in the mail, an actual letter from the White House, and then a follow-up from HUD that she is going to be getting housing. She's not going to have to wait on the long list like many other people. So those are a couple examples of the type of things where I've stepped in and people have got more action and more quickly than they otherwise were getting or would get.
Would you say that the old term, the squeaky wheel, gets the turn, the early bird catches the worm? Is that part of what you're talking about? Is that the secret? And that people should really learn to advocate for themselves? It's hard, it's difficult, and I know that.
It is.
But
it is. For one thing, you're already angry. You're already mad. You're hollering at a person on the phone that has no responsibility for what happened to you because you're angry. And so the squeaky wheel, put some oil on the wheel so it doesn't squeak quite so loud and become so irritating. And the bird, if the bird's going to chirp, how about the bird sing a sweet song, a beautiful song? I'll give you an example. I'm talking to somebody and they're giving me blowback. This is about money for orphans. This is about money for widows. And Western Union and the other place, I can't even think of it, they made a terrible mistake. And I'm speaking to the lady and I realize I'm kind of getting nowhere. 7 to 10 days, 7 to 10 days. And are you a mother? Yes, I am. Do you have children? Yes. So imagine you're in Africa, you're hungry, your children are hungry, and you're told money's coming, and then, this is what I said, and then you hear that Western Union is holding the money up because of some kind of stupid issue that can't be resolved. And ultimately, the lady melted because she thought about it, and Western Union did a very wonderful thing for that situation, not only regarding that, but also helped. So the issue is not only advocating, but how you do it, what you say. And I'd like to share one more real quick thing in an area that I've been involved with,
Sure.
And this is bullying. This is bullying with older parents that have kids in school can relate to this, and they get blowback. The school doesn't do anything. I can tell you, by advocating positive positively to the federal government and the state government with two particular school districts where they were not going to do anything, and there was going to be a crime. There was going to be what's called bullycide. There was going to be a murder, suicide, or there was just going to be the other aspect where they were going to go in and do harm to the school. In both cases where I intervened, no crime was committed, the school was held accountable, and both of those students were able to go on with more productive lives. So that's another area. But yes, being the right kind of voice to the right person who has the authority to help you is very important.
Harold, we hear stories of fraud. We hear stories of people taking advantage, and I don't think it's that widespread. I believe that most people are good. I believe that most people work hard, and sometimes life just gets in the way, and they get into trouble where they'll need somebody like Harold Cameron to help them out. Do you think that people, I don't know, they feel entitled to a benefit they may not deserve? Do you ever come across things like that?
Sure, some, but I think you're right. I think the majority of people, and oftentimes people we don't hear about, we don't celebrate, the hardworking, poor, middle class, and rich, wealthy, they're busy working, busy, taking care of their families, doing the right things, the good things. So, and they're not looking to take advantage of anyone or anything. So yes, but those people that are thinking they're entitled and are trying to get something, I've learned through the years how to weed them out. I've learned how to, ask some questions to come to a determination that really I can't help you. But I agree with you that in a sense of how people live and work and respond to situations that arise, I think most people are good people and want a good outcome and a positive outcome. They just want to get what they justifiably are and reasonably are entitled to. Nothing more and nothing less.
And Harold, we only have a moment or so left. What would be the one piece of advice you would give to somebody who has a problem with Social Security or their cable company or their bank? What is the one thing they should do themselves before they even consider talking to Harold the Advocate, the People's Advocate?
Call the number given to call. Be polite, be positive, be kind, and be considerate. Ask for help. Keep doing that. Keep going up the chain. Don't give up. That would be my final advice. Make the calls. Don't give up. And when you're ready to give up, boom, 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 who are you going to call? Not Ghostbusters. Call Harold, as Harold says. And then I'll jump in and help you.
And the place to do that is to go to HaroldSays.com. It's a very clever website. HaroldSays.com. Harold Cameron, the People's Advocate, has been our guest. And the name, by the way, of his company is Harold Says, LLC. And you are in the Washington, D.C. area. I think you had some thunder showers the other day, so stay dry.
Yeah, and you be safe and well. And thanks for having me on your show.
We appreciate you. Thank you. I'm Mark Allen, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. Hey, some good stuff today, Daryl.
Absolutely.
And not that we don't always have good stuff, but today was really got my juices going. Thank you very much, Daryl, for everything you do. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate people listening and writing in and saying things about us. We appreciate that, too. All right, everybody, we'll see you next time. Somebody will be here. We'll see you next time. Have a good week. Have a great week. And most importantly, have a healthy week. Bye-bye for now.